Results-based budgeting is based on the results-based management principles. The only difference being that RBB integrates the planning, budgeting, and monitoring and evaluation using a single result framework with a focus on outcome in its planning framework. Good budgeting is a way of ensuring that limited resources are allocated only where there are priorities. Priorities are best determined through proper and rigorous analysis of a situation or situational analysis. These priorities are then articulated as our intentions or what we aim to achieve. Often, this is referred to as an end state, or more commonly known as an outcome. Outcomes can be as simple as successfully and safely arriving at a destination, or could be as complex as successfully sending someone to the moon. Focusing on the outcome is nothing new. In fact, in the early days, it was introduced as management by objective, or MBO. Private sector's outcome is often reflected in its profitability, whereas in the public sector, outcome is more complex and challenging, given that it is not profit-driven. Examples of typical outcome statements could be increased connectivity, reduced poverty among farmers, and increased competitiveness. Identifying outcomes will require detailed situational analysis, and its implementation will require a good and detailed action plan. Detailed plans will also assist in better budgeting and performance monitoring. RBB shifts the planning paradigm by focusing on achieving measurable outcomes through optimal use of resources within specified time frame. In his speech for 2025 budget, the Premier of Sarawak highlighted the government's commitment to prioritizing outcomes in public sector governance.
We have recently embarked on the implementation of result-based budgeting, one of the key components of RBM that will transform public sector governance by directly tying budget allocation to measurable outcomes.
Outputs such as training programs for farmers, the number of roads constructed, or the number of agricultural support initiatives implemented represent only part of the journey, not the desired end state. The true goal is to achieve outcomes such as increased competitiveness, reduced poverty among farmers, and improved connectivity through better road networks. These outcomes reflect the real impact of our investments and efforts, ensuring that development brings tangible and lasting improvements to the lives of the people. Hence, RBB was designed to focus on outcomes and to detail out the programs of intervention that could lead to these outcomes through a rigorous planning framework. The outcome as changes we bring to a problem or needs situation, often linked to our clients and stakeholders or the end state, is a critical point in RBB. We look at clients as the fundamental reason for the existence of a program. Examples of these include local businesses aiming to increase their competitiveness within Sarawak's industrial estates, farmers striving to lift themselves out of poverty through improved agricultural practices, and rural communities working towards better connectivity through enhanced road networks. Linked to these examples are the stakeholders who have a vested interest in ensuring that these programs and developments succeed. They could include minister, members of state assembly and parliament, the Budget Office, and the State Farmers Organization, to name a few. A logic model, known as the Program Logic and Linkages Model, will be used in identifying the right outcomes. Simple management tools, such as the problem tree analysis, will be used within the model in identifying the strategies, the outcomes, the interventions, and the type of outputs that need to be generated by the program. Resource requirements, such as human capital and finances, will be determined by the type of outputs that need to be generated. Resources requirements here are similar to factors of production in production theory. Conducting training programs, awareness programs, doctors seeing patients, and teachers teaching will attract costs, and this cost must be determined. To sum it up, outcomes are the end state we want to achieve so that clients and stakeholders' needs and problems can be overcome. Outcomes can only be achieved through an intervention program that generates outputs to which cost must be determined and allocated. For accountability purposes, program managers will only be held accountable for preliminary outcomes. However, they will be required to track its progression to the intermediate or tertiary level to ensure that the desired outcome is finally achieved. An example could explain this situation better. A program manager in the agriculture department was told that he had to reduce poverty among paddy farmers by 10% in 5 years. This would be the desired end state or outcome. By mapping a simple logical sequence of events, he determines that to reach this desired outcome, he will first have to increase paddy production. And this can only be done by increasing his yield. The strategy, therefore, is to increase his farm yield. A series of intervention programs or outputs, such as training the farmer on better farm management practices, providing better quality fertilizers and seeds, and providing better infrastructure will contribute to the preliminary outcome of increasing yield. The program manager will be held accountable for increased yield, the preliminary outcome. However, he will continue to monitor to see how many farmers will contribute to reducing poverty, the achievement of the tertiary outcome. RBB also introduced a number of key features to further consolidate program planning and implementation in an integrated manner. Firstly, the top-down approach in RBB allows planners and managers to vertically align state priorities down to implementation levels. Next, outcomes are often shared among programs and will require clear horizontal linkages to ensure all entities contributing to it clearly understand their roles and responsibilities. Thirdly, RBB focuses on budgeting for programs, which will have components of both development and operating expenditures. The budget will be reviewed through an integrated approach to reduce redundancy by focusing on program outcomes. Fourthly, the success of RBB will be determined by its ability to clearly identify performance indicator, assign accountability, and hold managers accountable for results. All of this can only be achieved with the development of a robust monitoring framework, the PRIMAS. It is an online application built as a management tool to assist program managers to manage their programs more effectively. The results framework only need to be developed once and refined in subsequent years. The focus of RBB will be on achieving results. RBB and the PRIMAS application is a management tool, and its effectiveness will be determined by its utilization. Culturizing performance will be the biggest challenge at the ministry level. For performance management to be effective, it has to be demand-driven at all levels.